Hi, this is Scott, Kilo Sierra 6, Delta Alpha Yankee, and for today's video, we're back with another in the Yaesu VX-6 operator series of videos. And for today, what we're going to be talking about is locking the radio. Now, locking the radio, and there is a number of different locking schemes that you can select, but locking the radio allows you to, with a long press of a key, in this case it's the little nuclear symbol in the lower left-hand corner, but locking the radio, what it essentially does is shuts down certain features of the radio so that you don't inadvertently mess your radio up while you're out doing stuff in the field. And this is particularly important, and it's something you're going to want to know how to do if you're ever going to be using this radio in a critical function. So let's say, for instance, you're out on some ridge line somewhere and you're bird watching. So you're laying in this hide and you're bird watching, and you're watching birds that run along trails and things like that. But you're watching things nonetheless. And you might have this attached with a molly pouch to, I don't know, some kind of carrier of sorts. And while you're laying there, your body is on the back side of the radio and the ground is on the front side. And the only thing in between the ground and this radio is a 1,000 denier Cordura radio pouch made by Spectre Gear. But what happens is, as you're laying there, that ground can impart enough force through the pouch onto the keys of the radio so that you could conceivably long press one of these function keys and cause your radio to be set up in a condition where you may no longer be receiving or able to transmit. There's a number of things that, or you may bump the channel knob and take you off of the channel that it's imperative that you stay on. There's a lot of things you're going to want to make sure don't happen with this radio. So what it's doing is it's taking Murphy's Law out of the equation for you. So, in locking the radio, the very first thing you're going to want to do is select a locking scheme. And Yaesu fortunately gives you a pretty good selection of locking schemes. So before we even think about locking the radio out, let's talk about the things that you can lock out with this that you need to select ahead of time. So to get into the lock menu, we're going to go to the set menu. So we're going to short press FW and then the 0. And from here, we're already on lock, but we navigate through the menu to get to lock. And then you short press the set key again, and let's go through all of the different locking schemes that are available. So what key does, it just locks out your keypad on the front of the radio, so your front panel keys are locked out so that if you press them, nothing happens. Then you have dial. What we're talking about for dial is going to be your channel control knob, and it would only lock out the dial. Then you have the option of doing keypad and dial. Now this is going to be pretty much and I think actually this is the factory default as well. This is the one that's going to be most useful to you. It's the one that I happen to use. And then we have PTT, so if you are leaving the radio around people that you don't want to be pressing this button, for instance, I have grandkids that run around, pick up radios, and then start tearing the place up with them. If I have a radio, well, yeah, locking out the keypad might prevent that from happening. Other than that, I can't think of a lot of reasons why you would want to do that, but there you go. Then you have key and PTT, then you have dial and PTT, and then you have all, where it locks everything out on the radio. Absolutely no controls will respond at all except for the lock button. Now let's go to key and dial, which is that's my jam right there. So once we're there, we just press the 0 or set button and PTT, and now we've selected that as our locking scheme. Now to lock the radio, here's all you have to do. Just extract the radio from your pouch or belt or wherever you're keeping it, and you're going to go to the button in the lower left-hand corner, the little nuclear button or double pretzel or wires X symbol, and you're going to long press that one. It's going to be about 3 to 5 seconds, but what you're going to be looking for is a symbol of a padlock to appear underneath right about where that 12 is. So let's go ahead and hold that down and see what happens. And there we go. Our lock is shown up, and that shows us that the radio is currently in a locked condition. So if I move that channel control knob, nothing. So it doesn't affect any of the channels, so I'm not going to bump it off of the channel that I've selected. And then pressing my keys, none of the keys are going to respond except for that one in the lower left-hand corner. And of course my PTT still works. So if I want to unlock the radio, and you definitely will, all I'm going to do is just reverse the process by long pressing until that symbol goes away, and now we have control of the radio again. So that's that's radio locking. They call it they call it keyboard locking in the manual, but since it does, sometimes you can lock out features that don't relate to the keyboard. It's kind of a weird misnomer, and I keep tripping over that term because I always use the term keypad lock. But that's essentially all we're talking about. So with that, I will thank you for watching and or listening. This is Scott, Kilo Sierra 6, Delta Alpha Yankee from Southwest Visalia, California. Have a wonderful day.